What's up, Helligans Cult? Welcome to the Helligans Horror Podcast, a podcast made by horror fans for horror fans. My name is the ringleader of the wretched Stony Graves.
And I'm Clawhammer.
Hey, how's it going, bro?
I'm doing great.
So, as previously stated in the Black Phone Review, new cinematic releases, movies in theaters, movies on Netflix, any new release gets priority. So we're reviewing Day Shift today. Honestly, great movie. I love this movie.
Fantastic. It was funny as fuck, too. It's the definition of how white people be like.
Nickelback plays in the background.
We'll go into that a little deeply. I want to go so hard into that.
Oh shit, we slapping it?
Yeah, we slapping it hard like a bitch's ass. What?
Oh, okay. Alright.
Oh, YouTube, sorry.
I would like to sincerely apologize for my unpreparedness. I'm pulling out my phone to read off the... Alright, so the cast includes Jamie Foxx as Bud Jablonski. Weird ass name, I found it hilarious. Dave Franco as Seth. Carla Souza as Audrey. Snoop Doggy Dogg as Big John Elliott.
Pink Johnson.
It says Big John Elliott and Big Johnson.
I'm calling him Big Johnson. I'm calling him Big Johnson for a reason.
So, literally in my notes, all I have is Snoop Dogg. It's not Big John, it's just Snoop Dogg. Megan Good as Jocelyn Jablonski. Natasha Liu Bordizzo as Heather. And, Jesus Christ, this little girl has a name. Why is there always one name in every movie? Zion Broadnax as Paige Jablonski.
Summary is a hard-working blue-collar dad who just wants to provide a good life for his quick-witted 10-year-old daughter. His mundane San Fernando Valley pool cleaning job is a front for his real source of income, hunting and killing vampires. Alright, so I want to open up the movie with, we see Bud eating the fuck out of an old woman, and I thought that shit was hilarious.
I found it hilarious, but in my opinion, the scene dragged on a little bit too far for it to be an opening scene.
I like a good long action scene, especially if it involves a vampire or an old woman, especially because she's
Yeah, I get it. I agree. At the same time, like as an opening scene, it shouldn't have been 7 minutes.
I like that. It just reminds me of she gets off that vibe.
It also felt like really old style professional wrestling.
Yeah,
like all the flippy shit.
I thought it was fun as fuck. I like this long action scenes because I don't know. I like that kind of shit. I don't care how long it is. I thought it was sick as shit.
Personally, I really like the concept that vampire fangs hold value. Nobody'd ever really done that before. Yeah,
we'll get into that part. Was that before we meet Audrey?
Sort of, because remember when Bud kills the vampire, he immediately looks at it and says it's payday.
Oh yeah. It's really interesting. The oldest vampire thief, the more it's worth. So that's pretty cool. And I would like to bring up the main villain, Audrey, who decides to quote Far Cry 3, by the way. If you don't know, do you know the definition of insanity?
Doing the same thing over and over.
I'm like, did they really just steal from Far Cry 3? And Audrey just played Far Cry 3 before she murdered the dude? Because also how she murdered the dude is extremely fucked up. She pretty much entraps another vampire in concrete. And it sounded awful because they could live forever in that concrete.
Exactly.
That's awful.
Well, not only that, but he was stuck in sunlight and then in concrete. That boy dead.
Shit, yeah, that whole scene was awful. I just laughed like, this bitch just played Far Cry 3 before she murdered this dude.
Right?
She's like, she sees, fuck, what's his name?
Rise, right?
No, the villain for Far Cry 3.
Yeah, wasn't it Rise?
It was Voss. By the way, the guy who plays Voss is in Better Call Saul, so I highly recommend y'all watch Better Call Saul, by the way. You know, a little plug-in for that show, but...
The movie transitions to Bud being in a nightgown, walking into his apartment.
But, by the way, he is... May I just say, is he ranch? Because he do be dressing.
He do be dressing.
Yeah, he killing the drip.
Call him
Man has no shame. He's walking down the park with no shame wearing old lady clothes.
What a flex. I think it's the old lady's background too, which is a massive flex.
Yeah, that was like latest nightgown because I think the reason is if they get like blood on them, the vampires can track their scent or something. So he changes clothes into an old lady gown and goes back to his apartment.
Well, doesn't it say later in the movie there's some kind of like gas that they secrete or something?
Yeah, so I want to talk about that too, but we'll get there.
We'll get there.
But then Bud picks up his daughter, which once again he's late because that's a fucking movie trope now. The father always has to be fucking late to pick up their fucking daughter. But instead of going to school,
it's always a black dude that's late in every movie. Never a white guy.
Yeah.
You ever notice that?
Like, I noticed that. I'm like, okay, well, that may be a little racy, but you know. After that, he to make up for it. He just instead of going to school, they go to Yogurt World, which I wrote based ass dad.
Based.
But when they got home, this girl just literally snitched on her, and I was like, oh, well, that's how we're gonna do this. She just snitched on her dad, just left the.
Right. That is so dirty. That is so my little brother.
Oh, thank you for picking Yogurt World. Let me snitch on you after.
So, like, literally, like, every time when I was a kid, my dad would show us rated R movies. He'd just be like, whatever you do, don't tell your mother. And then my little brother wouldn't say anything other than immediately, right when my mom would get home, make references to the movie we just watched.
Bruh. Yeah, no, that...
Like, we were watching Step Brothers without my mom knowing, and the second my mom walks in, my brother goes, "What's up, Kiwasabi?"
I remember when I watched Step Brothers as a young kid, like, I think the weird part where he just rubbed his nutsack on a drum set, and I was like, oh god, I've never seen anything like this in a movie. There's a penis in movies? Why would they show that?
Oh,
I was an innocent little boy. I was so innocent as a child. God forbid if he knew my younger me saw me now.
Anyway, let's talk about horror movies.
You're right. But do you want to talk about what the mom says and where exactly they're fucking moving to?
Florida.
I wrote my notes.
Hey,
don't move to Florida. And I wrote again. Don't fucking move to Florida.
You're so overpopulated. It's ridiculous. Do not move.
It's horrible here. You don't want to move here. It's so fucking hot. There's annoying ass old people. Do a bitch all the fucking time.
Crying out your ass. Don't move here, please. Please.
And this whole thing could be prevented if she be like a normal child and goes to a fucking public school. Because the whole point is, the reason they're moving is they have to pay for tuition for a private school. Like, just be a normal fucking kid and go to public school. If it's that much of a problem.
Exactly. Like, there is no reason. This whole movie exists because Bud needs to run up 5K, which... Yeah. I'm just saying, his wife probably makes, her ex-wife probably makes money too. This whole thing's dirty on Bud.
You seen the fucking house they live in?
Right?
In Los Angeles too. That's a nice house for just... You would have $5,000 if you're living in that kind of house in Los Angeles. I'm sorry.
Exactly. And she's complaining about 5K for school tuition, and somehow they don't have health insurance despite having a house that big, so braces are 6K.
Yes, and again, this problem can be avoided. She just goes to fucking public school.
Exactly.
But, anyways, do you have anything else to say about this point?
Personally, it's a great showing of a positive situation to a negative situation almost immediately. It's a really good foil, which is like opposites. It's a filter between what the daughter sees and what's actually happening. And the part that hit me the hardest was when Bud said that this child's whole world is in LA. That hit it.
Yeah.
It was real life, you know?
Yeah. This whole plot of it is really stupid. All this could have been prevented.
All of it could have been prevented had the mom not decided to be bougie.
For real. So after that, Bud then goes to a seller who buys vamp teas, and his name is Troy. So he can figure out how to pay for the tuition to keep him in California. And this whole scene feels like an episode of Pawn Stars, but the vampire version. Troy be ripping off people like Rick Harrison does to your normal person.
Hit him so dirty. $800 for 2 elder vampire teeth? Like, what?
Rick Harrison be like, I can't take this, bro. You know, I'm going to pull you down like... Man will come in with like $3,000 worth of things, and he's like, "Oh, I'll buy it for $200."
I gotta call my boy who's an expert on vampire things.
Yeah, gotta call my boy. Oh, he says it's more. Oh, we can't have that. We're just gonna bring it down a lot more. He's
Right?
the GameStop of pawn shops. Oh, and oh, great! You got a new mouse. Where'd that mask come from, huh?
I
So
had
weird.
to.
You just ran a switch mask.
You know me. I can teleport. It's a common trait. You know, us vampires can teleport.
Yeah, that's pretty sick, bro. That was a pretty cool magic trick. Anyways, back to movies.
I couldn't see out of the other mask, and it's a full latex mask in Florida. By the way, don't move to Florida if you're wearing masks.
Yes, please. It's awful. Good thing I
This
got
is
my
so
AC
bad.
fixed. Because, goddamn, it's nice to have a cool ass house for once.
You already had a cool ass house. Now it's a cold ass house.
I know it's gonna be great when you come over Friday.
Hell yeah, dude.
All right. So we're talking about
Let's
Pawn
talk
Stars.
about horror movies.
Yes. We're talking about the Pawn Star. Unless you have anything to add to it and you want to continue.
Personally, what I really like about this scene is it just furthers the high stakes of this movie.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this whole plot. Like, honestly, was a pretty good, cool fucking movie. And if you like action, horror comedies, I highly recommend it. It's so much fun to watch.
There we go. Computer's plugged in. I'm not screwed. Let's continue.
It reminds me a bit of a buddy cop film, but we'll explain why.
Agreed. I would actually love for a buddy cop sequel.
So that's next scene shows Audrey going to a house where Bud killed the old lady, and we find out that was Audrey's daughter. And then she cries a black tear, and in that moment, where all the emo kids be like, "God, I wish that were me."
Right?
So,
Crawling by Lincoln Park plays in the background.
or what's the other one? There's another emo song. Fuck. Tonight will be the night, and I will
fall for you. I love seeing I love seeing a villain with a good reason to be a villain. Like, you know, there's an actual backstory, a subplot within the villain. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Bud then waits for his boy, which turns out to be Snoop Dogg, coming out. But his name is Big J, but I call him Big Johnson because he may have a big
Johnson.
Anyways, Johnson. And Snoop Dogg, I'm gonna call him Snoop Dogg or Big J for now. I don't know which one. He comes out of a weed-filled truck full of smoke, and I haven't seen that much smoke since high school.
I haven't seen that much smoke since probably a month ago. Anyway.
Oh, you mean our little extravagant adventure?
Bro, we're gonna go on so many adventures. Y'all are gonna get some vlogs later.
Bro, let's do it Friday.
Eventually, or after Snoop Dogg's reveal, it's revealed that there's actually a union these vampire hunters are involved in. And this guy named Seeger is the head of it. And
I call him Joe Dirt.
I call him
Joe Dirt.
I called him either Joe Dirt or David Spade because I had no idea who that actor was.
He's Joe Dirt. I said the same thing. Like, this man looks like Joe Dirt.
Also, this movie like only mentions names literally once, so I had to watch this movie like 3 times just to pick up on the characters' names.
Well, I have another comment about Joe Dirt here. I said his mullet is bigger than Big John's penis.
Well, I mean, my mullet's bigger than that too, probably.
Oh, I remember the days of having a mullet. We're from Florida, so it's normal to have a mullet here.
Yeah, but tradition. I'm not allowed to take this mask off, but I promise I have a mullet to rock.
Alright, continue. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Also, like, literally in my notes, I have written, his wife's name is Jocelyn. Good to know, because I didn't catch that until damn near the middle of the film.
Well, you want to talk about how Bud got kicked out of the union in the first place and what he was doing there?
He committed like 40 different violations.
Including fleshing out a vamp nest while a child's birthday was going on, for which I wish I could see that one.
I would have loved to see that scene. Like, I would have loved to see all the flashbacks.
Yes, that would have been awesome. But Bud is currently trying to beg for his job back despite all the violations. And
Exactly.
with twist and convincing, their boss, Seeger or Ralph, I'm going to call him Ralph, let him back in with the help of Big Johnson there. I'm going to call him Big Johnson for now. I like that.
Despite Bud getting like 5 lifelong suspensions.
Yeah, well, he put up a sob story, so, that works.
Yeah, that's fair. When in doubt, start crying. Works every time. Except me getting a raise, but I'm not going to get into that on this podcast.
After that, we meet a character called Seth and his legendary conflict with fucking Carol, who keeps eating this man's yogurt, and fuck Carol for that.
Fuck Carol.
Free my boy Joe Exotic. There we go.
Alright, Seth also has 0 field experience whatsoever, despite having to shadow Bud in the field, which just adds more stakes.
That's when Bud comes to Seth after the Carol yogurt incident, and he tries to selling vampire tea. Wait, you already went into how he has shadow?
My favorite part of the movie, this made me laugh the hardest, was Seth's inability to wear a seatbelt normally, and Bud just brake checks the shit out of him.
Oh, yes, it do be like that. You have that one friend who doesn't put the seatbelt over their shoulder.
We all.
But yeah, that's that's what we all need to do. People in the audience, please do that to your friends if they don't want to wear your seatbelts. It's for their own safety.
Yeah.
They then stop at a location, and Bud tells Seth to stay in the truck, but Seth protests and eventually stays in the truck. And apparently Seth has a PTSD for not shooting a squirrel with a BB gun.
Yeah, Seth shot a squirrel with a BB gun and it didn't go well.
Well, he didn't shoot it. He said he couldn't shoot it.
No, because he said he tried and then it started making squirrel noises.
I just wish there was a flashback of he's like holding his gun. And he makes a squirrel noise and he's like screams and runs away.
Bro, why do all bitch-made field reps look like Logic?
For real though. He does look like Logic a little bit. And after that, we see Audrey, who then meets with Troy.
Hey, hold on. We skipped the entire bowling alley scene.
No, that's before. No, this is before.
Okay.
The work treatments, and then the bowling alley scene. It's like a little short clip.
Yeah.
Audrey then meets with the Pawn Star guy, Rick Harrison or Troy, however we go by, trying to get information on Bud. She gets killed. He gets killed presumably. And now we can talk about the bowling alley scene.
I loved the bowling alley scene. Bud's just kicking all sorts of ass while Nickelback's playing in his truck.
Yeah, pretty much Bud enters a building full of vampires and starts fighting them, which I think this would be an amazing fucking game. Just imagine an open world game of Day Shift.
I would
First
love
of
it.
all. But during all this, Seth then gets a call, which his ringtone is photographed from Nickelback. And I said, this is every white person ever. And then it's Ralph calling saying, hey, in the building to watch Bud.
And it goes horrible, and he pisses himself and then steps out and pukes. Shout out to Seth.
Well, let's explain what went horrible by it. So that's when Seth sees Bud getting attacked by vampires. And Bud asks him, hey, go give me my shotgun. But of course, Seth being Seth, he hesitates. But then decides to give it to him. And then we see Seth piss his pants. And Bud's like, oh, that's normal. That's completely okay. But he's clearly lying. And then he's like, let me dry your eyes real quick, man.
That's completely okay. That's completely okay. All I want you to do is duck. He just drops and kills a vampire right behind him.
Yep. After that, Bud then drops Seth off, and he gives Seth a cream to get rid of the vampire scent. And he warns him explicitly, do not get this in your butthole.
Or your eyes.
Or your eyes, but explicitly, do not get this in your butthole.
This movie's also really bad at introducing characters. Like, Heather's scene was just awk.
Yeah, it was weird. It was just really random. Like, she doesn't come back until, like, the end of the movie.
Yeah, and did you feel the tension between her and Bud? Like, do you feel like that was intentional?
Not really. I don't know. At first I did before, like, when I first saw the movie, but after a second viewing, I'm like,
it's just
yeah, I don't see it. Yeah.
The dialogue was realistic until that point. After that point, it just got awkward.
Yeah, I was like, okay, well, that's weird. I just pretty much just skipped it. I was like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
But The next day, Seth gets in Bud's truck, telling him he did indeed get it in his buffalo and how awful the experience that was. And I said, "It's okay, Seth. We all been there. You know,
And
you just
also,
get random things up your butt."
and Bud also finds out that Seth's been keeping tabs on him with all the violations and freaks
Oh
out.
yeah, he does freak shit out, which I would too. Like, bro, this
Just give me a weekend. Well, I also I don't believe that the situation was explained until that point. I don't think that Seth understood the situation.
That's when they go to the pawn shop and find Troy dead. But Bud wants to get revenge, but Seth says we should report it. But of course, Bud's like, "Give me a week, then you'll report it."
Give me the weekend. Give me 24 hours. And Seth finally gets the explanation of what's happening. And if Seth calls Seeger, Bud will lose his family. And Seth was just like, "So you need me? We're partners." Bud just goes, "I didn't say I need you."
No, I didn't. You need me? No, I don't know what you're talking about. You said it. You said it.
Exactly. And then just random scenes of Heather being sus, chilling with a blatant vampire.
Oh yeah. I didn't really. I was like, okay. That whole Heather sideline too was like weird.
Yeah, the only weirder part to me was the Nazarian brothers who appeared for a 5-minute shot. That would have been really handy in the end.
Yeah. Well, that's still cool though. I like that whole scene of when they meet with these other vampire hunters. Who are they again? What's their name again? I forgot.
The Nazarian brothers.
Okay. Yeah. They go decide to split the money and go in a house full of Zamps, and it was just a badass fucking scene.
Just a murder scene. It was beautiful. Yeah. And Seth.
But after Seth does piss his pants.
Wait, was this when Seth got bit, or was that later?
No, that's later.
Okay.
That's very later.
Can we discuss how fucking suspect the chewing gum scene was between the Nazarian brothers?
Oh yeah, that was pretty sus. I was like, oh, that's not cool at all. They just like
spit gum into each other's mouth.
Yeah, exactly. It was like, okay, well.
Now, when they did that with the bullet, on the other hand, that was gnarly.
Yeah, it was. And that's when they find out that there are vampires who can go outside in the day due to a certain, like, sunscreen.
Made of desert tortoise shell. It's illegal in 40 countries, bro. I love the way they say bro. It's so unnecessary and so funny.
After that, Seth and Bud go in the car and they start talking about Twilight. And, of course, Seth is a fan of Twilight.
Of course. After discussing that the vampire types don't cohabitate, so something's going wrong in the valley.
Do you want to talk about what's going on at the birthday party when he takes his daughter to the birthday party?
He takes Paige to the birthday party, and at the party he notices a bunch of cars and says that they have to go. Happy birthday! And what follows is, in my opinion, the best chase scene I've seen since the Jason Bourne movies.
Yeah, where he's like, "Okay, honey, have your laptop, play Mario Kart," and goes on a full-on chase. Bud then gets home and sees Audrey at the house holding his wife and then his daughter hostage, telling him she's going to turn his daughters and use her to kill the mom. And she already turned Seth to kill Bud. Obviously horrible, but possibly justified because he did kill her daughter, to be fair.
It'd be like that. It really do.
And that's when the family finds out that Bud is a vampire hunter.
Yeah, with the worst confession scene ever. They didn't even take it seriously.
Yeah.
Also, Vampire Seth is hilarious.
Oh yes, we gotta talk about. Okay, so Bud then gets knocked out and wakes up to Seth being a vampire. And Seth can't control himself, and he tries to attack Bud, and Bud cuts his head off, and that's where we think he's dead. But
Bud is alive. Puts his head back on.
I love the fact that he's like, "Yeah, friendship is complicated."
Yeah.
Like fucking facts.
Speaking of masks, by the way, shout out to our sponsor, Night Terror Studios. They do high quality hockey masks. They do collectibles. Horror movie themed cups, horror movie themed ashtrays. Personally, I know for a fact that I'm going to get the Scream themed tumbler cup. It looks fantastic. We have 2 free masks on the way, and you guys are going to be able to get really cool discounts on masks. Use code Elegance Horror on their website, nightterrorstudio.com, and you'll get 10% off of anything in the store, masks, collectibles, anything. How's that for a transition?
There we go. And catch those deals. They're really good deals, really cool masks, especially in time for the Halloween season.
Definitely.
Yeah, they look really fucking sick. We'll put it, the link in bio and everything in the description down below.
I rate that transition to an out of 10 out of 10 personally, but anyway.
Yeah, I'm gonna put all the information, wording, and shit too. Just send me the link of it. I'll just copy and paste and I'll put the wording like on the bottom of the screen or something.
Alright, that. Then.
Wait, did we forget to set the screen right? How I'm on the corner?
Oh no, you're good. Skype fixes that.
Okay. Alright, awesome. Anyways, they then go to find out where Audrey is, and in the car, Bud accidentally hits a speed bump, and his Seth's head comes off a bit and says he has a driving problem.
What was it? Don't go over any speed bumps.
Boom. And then the weird Heather side plot. Bud then goes to Heather's house, found out that she told Audrey where he was, and that's when she said she didn't have a choice, and they agreed to fight together with Seth. And then, like, okay, well, that was kind of fast.
And then Body Count starts playing, and I love Body Count.
Yeah.
Have you listened to him?
I haven't actually listened to him. You guys send me a link after this.
Dude, you gotta check out Body Count. It's the most unlikely shit ever. It's Ice-T from Law & Order in a metal band.
Okay. Yeah, send me out.
It's so good.
Check it out.
It's so good. Anyway, then at this point, there's just a massive killing scene, and in my notes I put, we are probably not doing a blood tally on this movie because the kill count alone would make me cry.
Yeah, that's because pretty much Big Johnson comes in with the clutch with a goddamn machine gun and a joint in his mouth. God, this man is the great definition of peak male performance. Exactly. And he just mows these motherfuckers down with the minigun.
Yeah. And then he gets bit, and we all cried.
Yes, I was like, no, Big Johnson, no. But he sacrifices himself. He tells Bud to go, and Big Johnson blows himself up. And I said, what a fucking legend. May God give him a joint and help in heaven.
Right. Can we take a moment to address how quickly Seth became an ass kicker?
Yes, for real. He just beat the Audrey's little like minion to shit up. Like pretty much him and Heather just rips his fucking arms apart too.
Brutal.
And I was like, God damn. But then we see Bud and Audrey fight, and once they start fighting, Bud has an idea where he just stands still while she just runs at him, and that's when her head gets caught in the wire and her head's like completely cut off. And then she calls him, "You little pool boy." And he's like, "Yep," and throws her head.
You fucking pool boy, the best.
Yeah, the best. Boop, bye. They meet back with Seth and Heather, and Seth says, I'm so happy I didn't pee myself, but then we find out vampires can't pee or poop.
Which is, by the way, hilarious.
He's like, why can't you guys give me something?
You know, obviously there was the cute little family reuniting scene, and Bud blatantly getting curved, which made me die laughing.
Yes.
Reaches in for a kiss, and his wife, ex-wife, whatever, just kisses him on the cheek.
Yes. Like, bruh, you just got fucking... Well, do you want to talk about what happened, was that before or after Joe Dirt comes in and talks about all these fucking violations?
I think that was before, and then Joe Dirt just comes in, tries to sauce him, and Seth is just going back and forth, hardcore mode.
Yeah. And then that's when, Joe Dirt loses and he walks away pissed off, and we have a surprise for you guys. We lied. Big Johnson's still alive. Surprise, bitches.
Yep, surprise, bitches. And he says, that's what I love about LA. All the damn vampires. And I don't know how many people caught this because Lost Boys is kind of a cult classic. But at the end of Lost Boys, the grandfather says, that's what I hate about Santa Carla. All the damn vampires. They did a reference in reverse, bro.
I haven't seen that movie in such a long time. I think I watched it with my mom once.
So good. I love Lost Boys.
But that's the end of the day shift. Do you want to review it?
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you rate it out of 10, bro?
I think it's a good 8. Honestly, I think it's a good 8.
I'd give it like a high 8, maybe an 8.5.
Yeah, it'll be for me. It's like a low 8. It's still really fucking good.
I mean,
I think I really enjoyed it.
personally, I would give it a low 8 solely because of the like character introduction scenes. It
Yeah.
kind of dragged in the beginning, which is strange. I've never seen a movie drag in the beginning. But
Well,
once
there's a
it
lot of
picks up,
sometimes
it's really good.
Well, there's a lot also like a lot of unnecessary scenes. Like the Heather thing was kind
Agreed.
of weird, and they would like drag out some certain scenes when they didn't really need to.
Agreed.
But either way, it's still a great film if you want a good laugh and an easy watch.
To be completely honest, I blame Zack Snyder for that because, released the Justice League Snyder Cut and he made a 4-hour movie, so now Netflix is making everything like 3 hours long just so people can't say it anymore.
Don't diss the Snyder Cut. That shit
I will
lit.
openly diss the Snyder Cut.
Bro, we will fight on this. I love the Snyder Cut.
Let's not do this on this podcast.
No, look, hear me out. You can watch it in episodes. If you look up online, I'm going to this, man. You look up online, there's certain parts you can stop at and watch it like a TV show.
Yes, but I didn't. And I could have gone to Miami in that time period.
Maybe you have no life and I like superhero movies, but
I love superhero movies, but that was ass. Literally the entire plot was carried by Flash falling over in car accidents, and you can't prove me wrong.
I liked it, but anyways, we're not going to go in this debate, but...
Let's talk about horror movies. We can do this debate on another episode.
But yeah...
I would love to debate you on a bonus episode about this, so that'd be fun.
Yes, a little debate. We'll start. I got to rewatch Snyder Cut. We all got to watch Snyder Cut then. You got to, too.
Alright, bet. I'll get Johnny Hayes on it, too. Find one of your...
Maybe Friday I could get you into it, just saying.
Alright. I mean, I was feeling more horror movies on Friday, but...
That's true. We gotta watch the next movie Friday, honestly.
Agreed. ABCs of Death, right?
Yes. My favorite fucking movie, and of course, it's a bizarre one. It's gonna be so exciting to see Stoney's reaction to this movie, because goddamn is it beautiful. It's wild, and we're gonna be doing some drinking, and it's gonna be really fun.
It's gonna be amazing. So, what are we doing? Pouring up a drink and take a sip every time someone dies?
I'll figure something out with that. I gotta figure something out with that.
Alright, hell yeah.
We'll figure it out. Honestly, we could do it after every letter, but we'll figure it out.
Okay. Alright, thank you guys for watching the podcast. Like the video, comment what you want to see us review next, and subscribe to the channel to join the Halligan's Cult today. The links to our Twitter, our Facebook, our TikTok, and our Slasher page are going to be in the bio, as well as the link to nightterrorstudios.com, our sponsor. Big shout out to Night Terror Studios. Big shout out to Spaghetti Gang, the record label that I'm working with my music. Check out Fam on Spotify. Check out Markcorp on Spotify. All fantastic. Just everything beautiful all around. Good vibes to everybody. Have a great day. Stay spooky.
Yes, and we're going to be destroying children now in Fortnite.
We're gonna be wrecking children's lives on Fortnite.
Yes,
Let's get it.
Destroying dreams. All right. See y'all. Bye.
Yeah.